Aloha, this is Santa Surfing. Welcome to Beach Broadcast. Today is Thursday, June 19th, 2025. How are you all doing? Oh my gosh. I have a lot to cover today. We're going to have a live today, so I'm going to try to record this before the live. That happens on Locals. I'll make sure I record it so I can post it on X as well, on the X subscriber page. If you ever need to find me, go to beachbroadcastnews.com and hit the links button, and you can find our videos. Now, I'm posting more full videos on YouTube. Why? Because I'm having some technical problems on the back end here on Rumble, so that's why I'm doing that on YouTube. So follow me on YouTube, please. I'd never ask anyone to follow me, but follow me. And then these are all my social media handles here. We have more winners that filled out the form yesterday. We have a secret word day every Monday of this month up until next Monday. We put out a secret word. It's on my Monday videos. On Wednesday, I drop the form. The first 5 people that drop the right answer will get prizes. We did get some winners yesterday. And so I didn't have a chance to put a graphic together of the winners, but congratulations. Now, if you are a subscriber on X or on Locals, we also have, in addition to that, we also have a accommodation stay for free for Locals and X subscribers. The contest is for them. So if you want to join us here, some people say, can I just join for a month? Yeah, you can. You can just join for a month. That's fine. And you can, you'll participate in this. So it's a 1-week stay from July 27th to August 2nd at Orlando at a really, really beautiful resort in Kissimmee or close to Orlando, Florida. Man, guess who is posting Pepe? This is an anon. If you're new to this movement, you're seeing these green frogs. This is an anon meme clip, and for Elon Musk to post this just randomly, no words, no nothing. It's Pepe lighting a cigarette. There is a lot of shout outs going on for surfers and anons right now. You have made all of this happen. We could never retake our country back, our sovereign nation back, had it not been for you. And that includes everything under the sun with that. So yeah, we're all doing the Sammy dance. Yeah, go surfers. Go anons. I haven't done that dance in a long time. We have Sherry. She is sharing her Trump dance with her puppy on the beach. Isn't that cool? So that's so cool. So yeah, and then we have, nothing's going to stop us surfers. No way. Kimberly's posting this, little squirrels dancing with little, how cute. So everyone's just all excited. Butter biscuits, just like, okay, this is me when things get a little rough. Yeah. Okay, so today's podcast is we conquered DC in free fall, but we conquered the significance of the flag at the White House. It was an 88-foot, they were both 88-foot poles. Okay, well, for those of you that know, you know what I'm talking about. This is very significant. Kind of goes back to the significance is much like the Marines, the 6 Marines that stood our flag during the Battle of Iwo Jima back in 1945, and how that was indicative of what was going on here in terms of winning battle, winning a war, which I'll get to in a moment. So yesterday's podcast, I will put the link below, and it is on the Capitol in free fall. When the Golden Knight, they gave the flag to President Trump after he made his 3-move checkmate move, all right? That was and he said, here is the flag that stood above the Capitol in free fall. All right, now that was pretty big. So what does that mean? The Capitol's in free fall, but now we're going to see the post-parade events because we're watching the post-victory events unfold. Part of that's going to have some weird stuff going on, yet the media, their minions, that includes the oblivious fake MAGA people, I'm just going to say that, the OFMs are trying to twist the narrative, trying to, again, do everything they can to twist the narrative. Remember, one of the comms from the military parade, and it was also featured in this podcast, led to Q34. Now, I'll just go down here. It's pretty much saying that over the next course of the several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. And then it goes down here. Rest assured, the safety and well-being of every man, woman, and child of this country is being exhausted in full. However, the atmosphere within the country will unfortunately be divided, as so many have fallen for the corrupt and evil narrative that have been long been broadcasted. We will be initiating an EBS, an emergency broadcast system, during this time in an effort to provide a direct message avoiding the fake news to all citizens. Organizations and or people that wish to do us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. Certain laws have been pre-lifted to provide the great military the necessary authority to handle and conduct these operations at home and abroad. Many people are saying they're pushing other patriots, surfers, anons. They're trying to push their narrative from, getting their marching orders from whatever. We are one to think for ourselves. We are the unvaxxed, proud unvaxxed. Now, some of you had to get vaccinated to keep your job. We totally understand that it was against your will. However, we are the ones that didn't hide that. We were proud to say we were unvaxxed. We got told we couldn't go shopping, we couldn't buy stuff, we couldn't do anything, couldn't see a doctor, couldn't do squat unless we were vaccinated. Yeah, we were one to think for ourselves and live for what we thought was right. President Trump. So that being said, be prepared, President Trump. It may not be an EBS. It might be in the form of something coming up on your streaming TV, and it's going to have some kind of an announcement. Will we have constant communications coming in? Because if you subscribe to the White House and you subscribe to their site for the news, they actually are sending out text messages, and they're sending out text messages about certain events that are going on and unfolding, which is fantastic. A way to talk about the people's president administration, keeping in touch with everybody. But will it also be used to send out important messages so that we would be aware? Because if everything shuts down, then we're going to be kind of lost, because many of us depend on social media, and we're certainly not going to depend on the paper newspapers that come out, because, we know that's a bunch of fake news. For an example, yesterday, Iran has gone dark on the 6th day, not for 6 days, but on the 6th day of Israeli strikes. Now, with widespread communications restrictions, and the internet service was severely restricted, and news media sites are not updating. Family chat rooms on WhatsApp, which Iranians use inside and outside the country, used as a lifeline, has gone quiet, and reaching people on the phone inside the country has become extremely difficult. This is just in Iran. What happens if it hits other nations? What happens if it hits here, right? Imagine that. So would we be able to get emergency notices from President Trump telling us exactly what's going on, so we're all informed? By the time we come back, we'll be aware of what's going on, and we'll say, okay, we're up to date. People are pushing President Trump, and he ain't, one thing about President Trump, he's not going to budge. He is the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, the leader of the world. Do you think that those narratives are going to help them budge, or is that part of the plan to get these oblivious fake MAGAs to go ahead and, go out there and do what they need to do in order to really expose who they really are? Carolyn Lovett in today's briefing said to trust President Trump. And then she closes with, he's not going to make any decisions for about 2 weeks. So he's not going to make any decisions. And guess what 2 weeks leads to? July 3rd, the day before Independence Day. How cool is that? Remember, President Trump, through his El Donado account, he adds light humor to just give us a little. A lot of his posts have a lot of significant meanings behind it. Many of them are humorous. There's a point to everything. President Trump posted this, and it is okay, so this is an AI-generated video clip, but listen to the message that he's trying to share with us.
Okay, guys. I want to clarify about the big surprise, because everybody's been giving me shit about this all day because nothing happened. So here goes, okay? I did have a big surprise. But when I gave the order to detonate, they told me we had no nuclear scientists anymore. They're all dead. So I said, you know what? Bring me the freaking bomb. I will detonate that bitch myself. They said, sir, there is no bomb. So I said, what do you mean there is no bomb? And they said, no bomb, sir. We just heard Israel say we had one, so we all thought we had one. But we don't have shit. And then the morning came, and I...
2 days ago, he says, I got a big surprise. It was a meme again. I got a big surprise for Donald Trump. And now he says this. All right, President Trump is letting the world know in his own humorous way, they don't have it. All right. Let's just see how, because some people are still a little concerned, but President Trump is giving assurances that that's pretty much, he even wrote, so that's what happened. So one of the things about the dirty cabal, dirty elites, they were all about money, control, greed. Money, control, greed. They wanted to keep you suppressed. They didn't want oppressed. They didn't want you to have squat-ola. They didn't want you to be successful. I repeat this so many times. They didn't want you to have the freedom that you ultimately need, that you are supposed to have according to the Constitution, right? So here's a thread, and you can click on here. It takes you to a thread reader roll. So it says, we took back control. Military parade gave us so many calms, capital and free fall, so much to a lot more. So the raising of the flag at the White House, it's truly significant in that the military has conquered the enemy territory. This includes the corrupt financial system that has kept us in slavery. I'm going to kind of focus on the financial system because of some of the things that were posted today by President Trump. Freedom from the swamp slavery is working. Now you're probably saying, okay, Santa, that's all great, but why didn't it happen sooner? I'll get to that in just a moment. President Trump's truth, he posted it at 23:56 military time on yesterday, on June 18th, referring to the incompetence of the Federal Reserve, the non-government entity that had a stranglehold to keep the country and the world in financial slavery, addressing specifically Jerome Powell. Too late, Powell. Too late. Powell is the worst, a real dummy. Who is costing American billions. Fannie Freddie regulator. Powell should cut rates or quit. And it's a post on a National Mortgage News article. Bill Putte's social media post saying inflation has fallen far enough, added intensified political pressure on the Federal Reserve Chairman, the independent Federal Reserve Chairman. This also, President Trump wants Powell to drop it 2.5 points. Can you imagine if that happens? Oh my gosh, how that's going to the economy is going to go crazy. Crazy in a very good way. Now, President Trump. So the timestamp on that tweet, on that truth post was 23:56. President Trump, the timestamp, it leads to Q23:56. Now, before I get to that, the significance of President Trump flying the 2 huge flags at the White House, he was sending the world a huge message. And what the very last part of this Q post says, today, the Republic, there's much more work to be done. Today, the Republic took back control. Oh my gosh. All right, so now it's all making sense because back in 2018, we were like, that didn't happen. But we're learning the comms. We're learning how he's trying to communicate to us. And then interesting, President Trump, his burner account, I'm just educating this because there seems to be a lot of people really interested in joining the MAGA movement now. And they're still having a hard time wrapping their head around Pappy Trumpo's account, El Donato's account. So if you want to know proof that it is President Trump's account, you can click on this link right here. But posted at 12:41, President Trump posted this. Now, it's going to be really exciting to see what's going to happen because he posted this. Am I allowed to appoint myself as the head of the Fed? I do a way better job than Powell. You ready? Remember this Q post. Q3904. You can tell I'm really giddy today, guys. This is, one of my sponsors, I use their platform, JUVENT, and it feels really good, especially when I get a good night's rest. Okay, this is not, in the Q post, sorry. Q post 3904. This is not another 4-year election. It has a post from Iron Belly. I read this so many times, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's a post with an article, a Yahoo Finance article. It essentially, bottom line, it says, so again, Yahoo, liberal kind of, this is back in 2020. This scheme, they called it. Okay, the scheme. What was forming the Federal Reserve? Wasn't that a scheme? Oh, well, anyway, this scheme essentially merges the Fed and Treasury into one organization. So meet your new Fed chairman, Donald J. Trump. Kaboom! Kaboom! President Trump and Il Donato, those two accounts, real Donald Trump and President Trump through his Il Donato account, they drop so many little gems, little jewels, a little here, a little there. And then it just like suddenly a month later, it comes to fruition. A week later, a day later, it comes to fruition. So that's really big. We already know what's in the works. It's been like that for a while. But then you're still asking, but why is it taking so long? This is all, everything is a military operation. It already confirms that Trump is the Fed chairman, but this public release process has to be timed with precision. What happened with all of the pardons that Loser Barry signed before President Trump came into office in 2017? Did President Trump need certain people to recommit certain types of crimes? Are preemptive pardons legal? What if Loser Barry wasn't a legitimate president? We know Biden wasn't because of the auto pen and many other things. But getting back to the point, again, we're living in two timelines simultaneously, which is kind of crazy. But getting back on point, where if they signed pardons and saying they get pardoned for everything except for treason and seditious conspiracy, because you can't pardon treason, then President Trump has to get these people to go out there and recommit new crimes, right? So they're just let them loose, let them do what they need to do. President Trump, he already took over the Treasury back in 2020, but he could not do a thing about it, right? Okay, I'm going to just stop right here. Think about if you own a business or you know a business owner and they're going through a big change. Maybe it's an acquisition. Maybe it's going to be a merger with another company. Do you think that company, that business owner, is going to say anything publicly before it is formally announced and ready to roll out? Absolutely not. Why? Because it will affect the operation of his or her business. If the clients knew, the vendors knew, depending on what kind of business they are in, the staff knew, they will go absolutely ballistic crazy that many things will start to happen. So they do it and then they make the announcement. Similarly to this, they had to do things to then eventually take care of other operations and make the announcement. President Trump was setting the foundation for all of this years ago, to knowing he was going to reach this point where we are right now. Military parade. Okay, so are you with me on that? All right. So the military parade, they sent out the world a huge message by their song comms. I'm going to just say music comms. Did you know that Christina Bobb, one of President Trump's former attorneys, she was on RSBN on one of the rallies, and she told Brian Glenn, who she co-hosted the rally together with, she said, President Trump, he picks the playlist for all the rallies. So all the music at those rallies that you've attended, all the music that you heard before that, the Nasa Dorum to rock music to everything else, all of that music is the music that President Trump has selected. Don't you think he picked the same music for the parade? So there was a moment where during the parade there was no music, and then suddenly Thunderstruck hit, and then suddenly another song hit, and another one. They were all just getting the crowd super fired up. All right, then this one. He had, I'm going to fast forward this. You can click on this link anytime and take a look at it. He had Enter Sandman music, the Metallica song, the rock song, right? Now, we as Anons, we know exactly what this means. Now, while this was playing, it was showing tankers. Federal Reserve is not a federal agency. It's a private entity. It was schemed. I'm going to just go back here. It was schemed by a group of elites they formed the federal. Did you know they formed this on Christmas Eve in 1912, and then it rolled out in 1913 to form it to take away the American dream? There's no reference in the Constitution about having a Federal Reserve. Our Constitution clearly states that all of our bills, anything that we do, we are to emit payments through. They're not supposed to coin money, which is printing dollars. Omit bills of credit, which is charging interest on loan payments. But the only way to pay for anything was through gold and silver coin, and that's the only form of tender payment. And our dingbat, dirty, evil government allowed these Federal Reserve elites to do what they did to destroy the American dream. Now, you might be a very, very prosperous and very wealthy, but think about this. If you didn't have the interest payments, you started, let's say you didn't inherit the wealth, you started from scratch, which many of you are in that position. But imagine where your company, your business, your enterprise, your whatever it is would be if you didn't have interest payments. And then think about all the employees that you've hired. If they didn't have interest payments, how quickly their lives would really progress. Then, so again, enter Sandman. Operation Sandman is essentially what it is. It's to take down destroy the Federal Reserve by dumping the U.S. Treasuries, 100 nations wanting to dump the U.S. Treasuries and stop the fiat dollar, right? It really, truly bypassed our rights to use gold or silver as a form of payment. And then it was the form of currency we will use. It's going to be genius. And guess what it's called? It's called the Genius Act. It was passed by the Senate. The Genius Act prevents any endless printing of the fiat dollar and also prevents the hyperinflation that goes with it, right? Digital assets can be monitored through Space Force to detect any nefarious money laundering dealings and kickbacks to politicians. It's going to monitor everything, but it's also to protect you. President Trump, yesterday he truthed this. The Senate just passed the incredible bill that is going to make America undisputed leader in digital assets. Nobody will do it better. It is pure genius. Digital assets are the future, and our nation is going to own it. We are talking about massive investment and big innovation. The House will hopefully move lightning fast and pass a clean Genius Act. Get it on my desk ASAP. No delays, no add-ons. This is American brilliance at its best, and we are going to show the world how to win with digital assets like never before. We had thought that it was going to be a gold-backed actual currency, which it got switched. President Trump switched into going into something more digital. Why? Space Force was created. He created Space Force. They more than likely found all of the wonderful capabilities of Space Force and said, this is a great way to track any of money launderers and all the dirty acts. One of the biggest goals that President Trump and his team have, and the White Hats and the Galactic Federation, they don't want any more big crooks. Well-funded crooks out there anymore. They cannot have, they work so hard to take thousands of years of human abuse crimes out and decades of financial crimes out of the picture. Do you think they want to go ahead and have another deep state formed? No, this would be the only way to monitor and protect that from happening. Okay, so then Dan Scavino yesterday, he posted a very big, beautiful victory flag with a rainbow in the background. He's sending us a very, very strong message. So it's got the beautiful, beautiful big flag. He's got DC kind of like in the scope, and then he's got the beautiful rainbow and a helicopter right there. Okay, so it's a really beautiful picture. We all know rainbow currency, right? That's how we always think about it. Well, what is the end of the rainbow? Now, again, as a child, I said, oh, the end of the rainbow is a big pot of gold. Again, metaphorically, is that what they're talking about? Gold-backed assets. Or is it going to be something else backed assets? All the stuff that's going into the sovereign wealth fund backed assets. So if we think about that, this is an image created by Grok, but is it going to be a gold backed token asset, right? So because of you, we're actually watching the fall of the Federal Reserve. President Trump, our military, all Anons have been in this fight. We're winning because of you. President Trump, he sent a very strong message to you, the surfers, the Anons that stood and held your line. Thank you to all my real MAGAs holding the line. I really do see you. I love you. So, I mean, it's so wonderful that you think about this. We have a president that's so in tune with the people. This is a message for you. He's talking about the real MAGAs. Okay, we've always said the fake MAGAs. He's talking about the real MAGAs, right? Holding the line. I really do see you. I love you. Talk about just the epitome of the people's president, how he is so in tune with what you are doing and how hard you are fighting, no matter how small your account is. It's not the size of the followers that you have or the people that follow you or etc. It's about the content you put out there in the fight. And that's what he's saying. This is a message for you. We could never have done any of this had we not had you out there in the battlefield, the information warfare battlefield. So shortly after that thread was posted, our awesome commander-in-chief, President Trump, boss man, he posted this: Happy American Freedom Day. Every day is Freedom Day since we're back. Kaboom! 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 So what I just shared in the last 10 minutes was all about the financial, the Federal Reserve, all of that. Ginny posted this. She posted a quote from Julian Assange. It is because if DC is in free fall, remember this: Julian said, when all is exposed, 98% of Washington will fall. He didn't say Congress. He said Washington. So that means, will it be those agencies that the government that Doge is investigating and auditing? And did you also hear too that the DNC has run out of money? Is it because U.S. aid funds are bye-bye? Are many of these quote unquote big time influencers that got funded by USAID, are they losing their, their heads because they aren't funded anymore, right? Okay, well, you connect the dots. Kash Patel, now Director Patel, FBI Director, tells the world the Federal Reserve is a private entity. Listen to more of what he says. This is posted by Baron TN News.
So I think we got to educate people that the Federal Reserve is not a public government entity. It's a private entity owned by the robber barons that started this country, who manipulate the currency to their advantage. And that needs to be tackled. Again, I'm not the economic guru. I just know it's a problem. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the solution is, but it needs to be addressed.
Kash, you take care of the election fraud case. Go to the hearing, have all the Democrats squirm as they try to ask questions, and then your answer is going to be, you, Mr. or Mrs. Democrat Congressperson Crook, you certified an uncertifiable election. You certified knowing it was a fraudulent election. Do that. Do your thing. Let the Federal Reserve, he says he's not a financial guru. That's not his gig. But again, he is letting the world know it was run by robber barons who built that. Okay, so you're not the only ones going out there. We got the director of the FBI. At the time he wasn't, but he is the director of the FBI making that statement. We know with all of that's going on, the DC, they're so corrupt, they won't go down without a fight. And their fight's going to be kind of ridiculous, kind of like this, just running around in circles. But we're just going to have a little fun with them, kind of poking the bear. But President Trump told the world that he was the hunted, now he is the hunter. Remember that. So President Trump, he is on a mission, and he knows that he's going to be bringing in something absolutely great on my locals today. It's going to be a really, really wonderful, I cannot wait to share it. And then when the time is right, I'll share it publicly. But what else is in the works? Something very big and very beautiful. The one big beautiful bill had to pass after the celebration of the military parade unveiling on our sovereign country. Greatness is coming. Our best days are ahead. President Trump, he has kept his word. He is protected and guided by God, much like all of you. I just thank you so much for hanging in there for all these years. Man, I cry sometimes when I read some of your posts, and it's like, I can't believe it. This person followed me since 2017, and now here we are. We are here. So we went from drizzle to rain to a little bit of a storm. Maybe tomorrow we'll get thunder and lightning. Very, very frightening. Be fun for them. It will be fun for us, and we'll watch their storm is upon them. God bless you abundantly. Have a beautiful afternoon and evening, and I will have a show very soon. Aloha.